Teams are ready to go with the overtime period. As we indicated earlier, it'll be a 20-minute overtime or less if someone should score. And if nobody scores, they will go to shootout.
Yes, and
four
it's
on
4.
Yep.
Yes, it's 4 on 4 for the 20 minutes.
And the puck right off the draw goes into the state zone, and back behind to get it is Brian Rafalski. The veteran blue liner agitated on the play by Taves, moves out front, leaving the puck for Suter. Suter shakes off one man, brings the puck right out to center. His pass, however, picked off in the neutral zone, and Canada gets a chance. Taves moves to the face-off circle, forced to the corner, knocked off the puck by Rafalski, and now the Americans have it. Out to center ice, slowly left wing, Ryan Kessler, who has a goal in this game. He tries to get to the net here, but is forced away from it. The puck slides into the corner. Nash has it for Canada. Rick Nash right up the middle of center ice. Nash now into the U.S. zone. The puck poked off his stick by Rafalski, and the U.S. has the puck once again in their own territory. With it is Eric Johnson. Johnson fades back, drops it off now in that face-off circle to Ryan Suter. Johnson passes it out into the center circle. The puck bouncing around, finally getting a handle on it. Is Parise to Langenbrunner. The right circle with a shot. That one is blocked, and now Aginla handles the puck for Canada, and he drops it off. Here's Crosby moving in hard on left wing. Crosby losing control of the puck. A forward pass intended for Langenbrunner. Just fails to work, and it's icing Team USA.
Well, Langenbrunner's at the end of a long shift, but he was in behind the defense. He would have had a clear breakaway, but now he has to stay on the ice. Ian Parise.
And Zach Parise scored that goal to send it to overtime with 24.4 seconds left in regulation time. And now the overtime, 4 against 4 skaters, continues. Face-off in the U.S. zone. It lands back behind the net. Gleason takes it to the corner in his own end. Pass ahead, taken over at center ice by Canada. And Boyle now with the puck just inside his own blue line. Passing it out to center, bumped off the puck there is the Canadian forward Marlowe, and the puck's in front of the Canadian net. Taken away now by Boyle. Boyle pivoting in the corner of his own zone to shake off Stastny. Now he moves ahead with a pass up ice on left wing. Marlowe moves in, drops it off for Thornton. Thornton barrels into the left corner in the U.S. zone. Pass out front, but unable to get a good shot away, Marlowe. And the U.S. take it away as they go to center ice and right back into the Canadian zone. With the puck is Dustin Brown on the right wing board to the circle. Brown moves back to the blue line area. Steps ahead with a shot. That one doesn't get to the net. And the puck now in the corner of the Canadian zone for Dan Boyle. We've played 2 minutes here in overtime as Boyle goes to center ice, firing the puck hard into the U.S. zone. Goes around the inboards, winding up in the corner right side for Jack Johnson. Flips it away to Orpik. He's in the left corner. Getzlaff goes in to bump him. The puck comes out, however, to Pavelski. Passing over on right wing. Out to center. Jack Johnson into the Canadian zone on right wing, stopping. Passing the puck. There's a shot, and that one is deflected up and out of play.
Well, Jack Johnson has surprised me with his ability to jump up into the play. We've seen him a couple times. We saw him in the first period go around Scott Niedermayer and had a chance. That time he came down the right side, a little button hook, and created a scoring chance.
Canada now controls the draw in its own territory. Doughty comes out from behind the net. His pass goes cross ice as Canada now sends the puck deep into the U.S. zone. Kitty corners around the inboards. Comes out on the right side to the blue line. Doughty moving to the corner on right wing. Passing the puck in behind the net. Skips away from Taves in left corner where Nash has it. Nash left circle in the U.S. zone. Nash tries to get a shot away. Does. And it just goes wide. Now Kane deep in his own territory. Moving it ahead to Rafalski. He's out to center ice. A pass to Kessler. And that one is knocked away from him by Doughty right at the Canadian blue line. And now it's the Canadians back into the attacking zone. Taves with a shot. And that one goes off a stick at close range of Suter and up and out of play. Both teams making changes here, and the 4-on-4 continuing.
They're so used to playing that 5-minute 4-on-4. You wonder now the 20-minute overtime 4-on-4.
Mike Richards moves in to take the face-off against Chris Drury in the Team USA zone, and Drury wins it, pulling it to Eric Johnson, who goes in behind his own net with the puck. Johnson playing it out of the left wing boards. Drury trying to move forward, stopped by Stahl, and the puck goes back to Johnson. He plays it away down in the corner right side. Gleason gets it ahead at center ice. The Americans get the puck deep into the Canadian zone. It's in behind the net. A battle for the puck there. Boyle comes away with it. And Boyle now behind his own goal. Plays it off the boards on right wing to Richards. Richards gets it cross ice, and Canada goes to center ice. Eric Stahl moving it on left wing to the circle. Stahl in behind the net, still handling the puck. Then he's checked in against the corner boards by Eric Johnson. The puck again recovered by Stahl. His pass goes out of the zone, and the Canadian squad now regrouping at center ice. Game tied here at 2-2 in overtime. As the Americans now have the puck, the lead pass at center, tipped by Callahan into the Canadian end, and it lands back behind the net to Scott Niedermayer. Niedermayer's been known to score a lot of overtime goals in NHL play. Passing the puck over on right wing. Weber knocks it ahead. The puck slides in behind the goal. And it's taken over now by Orpik. Iginla bumps him in against the glass of the corner. Loose puck is taken away by Niedermayer. He's in the right corner in the U.S. zone. A pass in front of Iginla, shot. Oh, what a save by Miller as Iginla had the chance. Now Crosby from behind the net. Pass up front, shot. Miller with another save as he stops Niedermayer. And now the Americans bring it out. Jack Johnson to center, wristing into the Canadian zone, but Niedermayer moves over to take it away. This is Legenbrunner once again. Here's a chance now for Perry, moving in the face-off circle. Right to the net with a shot, and the save made by Miller. The puck goes to the right corner of the U.S. zone for Weber. Shea Weber's pass in front fails to click. And the U.S. team now bringing the play out to center now. Into the zone is Pavelski with a shot well wide of the Canadian net. Thornton handling the puck now at his own blue line. Putting it into the middle of Weber. Weber backhanding the puck ahead to Marlowe. Marlowe stepping into the U.S. zone, backhanding the puck in left corner. Thornton enthusiastically in after it. Shipping the puck around the end boards. Comes out on the right side, and the Americans clear out into the center circle. Now at the Canadian blue line, Doughty rushes right up the middle. He's into the U.S. zone. Doughty to the circle. Suter takes him to the boards. Doughty continues to handle the puck. Get back to the blue line there, then slides the puck in behind the U.S. goal, but it's secured there by Rafalski. Heat bodied in against the corner boards by Heatley, and the loose puck is taken away by Suter. Suter for USA out to center ice. Stick handling the other Canadians over the shot on goal. Save made by Luongo. Doughty taking the loose puck away from in front of the net, passing now behind the goal. Duncan Keith sliding it over on right wing at center. Getzlaf moving into the attacking zone. Trying to get a shot away. Done a good one. Blocked by Suter at the blue line. Now Keith keeps it in for Canada. Right face-off circle of Heatley. The right shot. And that one is knocked away by Miller. The puck now comes out on the boards and in behind the net of Team USA. Stepping out with it is Eric Johnson. St. Louis Blues defenseman carries the puck to center. Flipping into the Canadian blue line. And Canada now takes over. Forward pass attempt goes off a stick, and the puck bounds down the ice. Out of the goal is Miller, wristing it off the glass and out to center. Handled there by Boyle. Boyle drops it off to Big Rick Nash. Nash barreling right to the right circle, shooting, and the save. Oh,
that looked like it was going to squeak through. Left-hand shot. Rick Nash let it go, and Ryan Miller just got his pad on it.
Now it's Kane into the Canadian zone, but he stopped inside the blue line. And now Canada has an opportunity as they move forward. Nash into the zone on right wing, but crunched off the puck by Orpik. Now the Americans have it. Moving to center is Gleason. Moving the puck cross ice into the corner right side of the Canadian zone. We have played 6 minutes and 42 seconds of overtime. Game tied at 2. Circling inside his own blue line is Eric Stahl. Next goal wins. The Stahl stopped in the neutral zone and now passes the puck back into his own territory to Pronger in front of the net. He fades back as new players come on the ice for Canada. The pass on right wing. Eric Stahl hustles the center. Now he moves into the zone on the right wing boards. Gets the puck into the corner for Richards. Richards across ice, pass to the blue line. Wrist shot, and that one goes wide of the net off of Niedermayer's stick. And now the Americans bring it out. Jack Johnson to center. He passes. Moving right in is Pavelski. He stopped in front of the Canadian net by Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer, forward pass, picked off by Pavelski. His shot saved by Luongo. Oh, Joe Pavelski coming close to ending it for the Americans. And now it's Crosby stepping into the U.S. zone. Tries to get to the net. He's knocked off stride. Puck slides to the goal mouth, however. Now Crosby has the left wing boards. Gets the left corner to Iginla. Iginla, Crosby. Right! Sidney Crosby gives Canada goal. Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby!
And people were talking about Sidney Crosby didn't have a point in the last 2 games. And people talked about who could write a better script. Well, who could write a better script? Sidney Crosby, of all people, and he hasn't done much in this game either. And he gets the game winner.
And Team Canada all swarming around him in the corner. In the U.S. zone is Sidney Crosby. With his 4th goal of the tournament, Jerome Iginla with the assist at 7:40 of overtime. Canada winning their 14th gold medal, and that is a record for the Olympic Games as Team Canada defeating Team USA 3-2 in overtime.
Well, the quick shot by Sidney Crosby, it looked like Ryan Miller wasn't set. He didn't get down in time, and it went right through him. What a great play by Sidney Crosby. He started the rush, tried to go through the defense, puck into the corner, back out to Crosby. The slider beats Ryan Miller. And Team USA, there is no thanks for winning silver. They're standing around as Team Canada is milling each other, and milling and mauling each other in the corner. And Team USA is on one knee at the other end, thinking what might have been.
And the crowd still on their feet in the building, and we can be sure right across this great country of ours, everybody on their feet serenading Team Canada's hockey gold medal for the second time in 3 Olympic years. And, of course, 14th in these Winter Olympics, and that has never happened before, that one country would get 14 gold medals in the Olympics.
And Jerome McGinley fed the puck to Sidney Crosby. Jerome McGinley hit the corner to feed it to Sidney Crosby, who was inside the face-off dot when he slid that puck underneath Ryan Miller.
And now the teams shaking hands at center ice. And we'll hang in, of course, for the medal ceremonies. And the U.S. team will hang around to get their silver. That'll have to be a long... This process takes a little bit of time, and you can imagine the U.S. team having to stand around.
Yes, they have to get the mats out and do all that. And Team USA, only loss of the tournament is this game. It's the only game where they trailed.
Yep.
And yet they fought back. They were down 2-0 early in the... Fought back with Zach Parise tying it up with 24 seconds left in the game, and Team Canada in the overtime, Sidney Crosby from Jerome McGinley to win it. And Roberto Luongo gets the win, being congratulated by the coaching staff.
And the golden moment continues here in Canada Hockey Place. Everybody on their feet. The flag waving, the stomping, the clapping, the cheering, and maybe the odd drink of Molson Canadian.
Yes, shots on goal ended up 7-4 in the overtime in favor of Team Canada.
Well, it gets tense when you get yourself into an overtime situation with a gold medal on the line, but Canada finds a way with Sidney Crosby.
Well, 4-on-4. It gives Sidney Crosby a little more room to operate, and he started to play with a rush 1-on-2. Tried to go through the defense, and they squeezed him out. Brian Rafalski ended up in the corner with Crosby, but Jerome McGinley found Crosby coming off the boards as Crosby got position on Rafalski off the sideboards, and he was able to snap a quick shot by Ryan Miller.
And the Canadian players, coaches, management people all hugging each other over at the bench as the carpets come out of the ice by the attendants.
Well, Sidney Crosby, Stanley Cup champion and now Olympic champion.
And his 4th goal of this tournament gives Canada the gold medal. And Crosby playing in his very first Olympics.
Yes. Yes, many people thought he should have been on the last Olympic team, and they decided to go with a more veteran lineup. No doubt that he was going to be on this one. There was questions whether Sidney Crosby would be the captain of this Canadian Olympic team, and he ends up scoring the biggest goal of the tournament for Team Canada.
And the captain, Scott Niedermayer, despite his advancing years,
he was very good. He was very good, although that time goal, he and Shea Weber ended up 5 feet away, and Team USA had 2 guys in behind him. But it's all a moot point now because Team Canada has won it in overtime.
And listen to this crowd continuing to serenade their heroes.
And here's another point, Peter, and we talked about it before the game. Was Roberto Luongo great? No. But he was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He made a stop on Joe Pavelski in the overtime off his shoulder, and he was good. He didn't have to be great. Team Canada ended up shots on goal were 39-36 in favor of Team Canada, and they played well enough that he didn't. Was Ryan Miller great? No, he was good.
Yep.
Didn't have to be great.
So much for the theory that maybe the goalie can steal you.
You have to have a goalie steal you again.
And the carpets now have been pretty much all laid out. In the ceremony, the RCMP members are coming out with the flags of the 3 countries that gained medals from men's hockey.
Well, Finland received their medal last night, so their flag is going to be raised, but there's so many NHL players on every roster that Team Finland, a lot of their players left to catch up with their teams and go to their respective places for their games on Tuesday. I don't think there's any Finnish guys on Colorado or Detroit.
As they will play in
Colorado tomorrow, and then there's 12 games on Tuesday, and everybody else who's not in that group gets playing on Wednesday. So
that's part of my team. Doesn't play till Wednesday.
Doesn't play till Wednesday. They get the longer break.
So I guess I can party tonight.
Yes, you can go out. Broadcast party. I got the email for the broadcast party. That's a disadvantage of having the games at home.
Yeah, you've got to drive home.
That's right. I have to go on a road trip tomorrow. It's kind of hard. Okay, Sharon, guess what? Yeah, I'm going to party with the broadcasters tonight. And then I'm going away for another 10 days. Maybe not.
But I'm sure you'll host
yes.
one or two.
Yes. Yes, we will.
And the players now are all lining up in behind the carpeting. As the Olympic volunteers coming out to make sure everything's arranged properly.
And the flower girls will come out, and the medal presentation will be made. This is one, Peter, and I've looked at all these other sports that they don't have a past Olympian present them. It's usually some executive from the Olympic Committee, and once in a while there's a past Olympian, but not of that sport. And I was thinking, why wouldn't they have Gaetan Boucher presenting medals? And this one, why wouldn't you have Joe Sakic or somebody like that, Jim Craig, present the silver ones? And yet, that's just a little thing, but it's something that you would think that they would do, have mean a little more than get it from some guy who's 85 years old and part of the... I shouldn't say that.
Well, what do you think I am?
300, but I'm going to say ballpark.
Dick Pound will probably be out there. He's been giving away medals a lot.
Yes. He'll be testing them before he gives the medals away.
You have to make sure.
Yes. Well, Sammy Salo last night, I know he had to be tested before he could go celebrate with his teammates on Team Finland after he'd won the bronze medal. And the fans yelling Crosby, Crosby after the big goal by Sidney Crosby. And you think of guys who, the moment, seize the moment, and that's Sidney Crosby. Guys that seize the moment, and he is one who, the last 3 games, he's been good, but he hasn't been real good. And then seize the moment. He and Jerome McGinley get out there paired on the 4-on-4 and create a scoring chance, and in it goes. Wasn't a great goal.
No.
Slider through Ryan Miller, but it was a quick shot that surprised him, and in it goes.
And that's what superstars do. They seize the moment.
That's it.
And they're waiting now for the dignitaries to come out. The players are all ready to go. You really, as we said earlier, have to feel for the U.S. players, have to stand around and listen to this Canadian crowd. Well,
Brian Rafalski, who is I would assume he's 36 years old. This would be his last Olympics. He ended up playing almost 28 minutes in this game, and he was an all-tournament defenseman, but he just doesn't get to finish it off, and it's a story for him.
We'll go to the announcements. Here are the public address announcers. The victory ceremony for Team Canada. And the girls marching out with the flowers and the medals.
Yes.
For the silver medals, we're bringing out first.
They will present the silver medals first to Team USA, and bittersweet. I don't think Well, I'm sure Team USA thought they were good enough to be in the gold medal game, but to be so close and have it slip away. I know Pavel Dimitra, after the Slovaks lost, he said, I would have rather finished 8th than finish 4th. So you don't get a medal. And if they had won the bronze, I'm sure for Slovakia, it would have been like a gold. But to finish 4th, who remembers who finished 4th?
Et Monsieur Jacques Rogge, président du Comité international olympique, Olympia, Belgique. Accompagné de Monsieur Anthony Rossi. Et Monsieur
Introducing the dignitary.
représentant la Fédération internationale de hockey
one of
sur
them.
glace.
He's the head man.
The medals
out on
will be
the ice for
presented
this?
by Mr. René Passel, member of the Executive Board of the International Olympic Committee,
René
Switzerland.
Fassel, the IIHF.
And by Mr.
Fassel, he's
Jacques
the
Rogge,
IOC member
President
from
of the
Switzerland,
International
is being
Olympic Committee,
introduced.
Olympian, Belgium.
And Jacques Rogge, the International Olympic Committee president. Good photo opportunity.
Anthony Rossi.
Those guys are all staying at the Westin
At Wall Street,
hotel, and
yes.
they've got a wall around that
Yes,
hotel.
they do. Yes, they do. Our executive inn didn't quite have the same kind of security. Murray Costello,
Canadian.
well-known Canadian IOC member.
Médaillé d'argent, l'équipe des États-Unis d'Amérique.
But you know what, Peter, besides, for you and I, who travel around and do the NHL games, and we talked about this before, too, is had Team USA won, we would have heard about it for 4 years. And now, at least, we don't have to live with that. The Canadian broadcasters for Canadian teams, you with the Calgary Flames, and me with the Flames sometimes, and with the Vancouver Canucks. You travel to the States, and that's all we would have heard about for 4 years. Would have been, oh yeah, Team USA.
They're presenting the medals now to the American players.
And they don't look real excited about it. Zach Parise, who was really good in this tournament, getting his medal, and looks dejected, head down.
Nobody's smiling. Hasn't seen one guy smile.
No, Jamie Langenbrunner, the captain of the Team USA, receiving his.
There's a local favorite. He said thank you. That's
He waved to the crowd.
Ryan Suter.
Suter family gets another Olympic medal.
Now, Chris Drury's an interesting guy. Now, there's trade deadline coming up on Wednesday, and he's got a gigantic contract. But I think the Rangers would, if anybody wanted to take that contract, Chris Drury could find a new home.
Can you do anything here to try to evaluate his elevate
Well,
his work?
he looks like a third-line guy. He looks like a great third-line centerman who makes $6.5 million. And not many third-line centermen make $6.5 million.
Leave it to the goalie to have a little smile there.
Yes, and he wasn't playing, so it's easier for him. But Ryan Miller, who was playing, he's not. He's going to acknowledge the crowd, but he's not. Yes, there's no smile.
Nope. David Backus.
Brooks Orpik. Bobby Ryan. Phil Kessel.
Some of the young guys on Team USA, the youngest team here, Bobby Ryan and Patrick Kane, the youngest guy on this Team USA. You know they'll play in the next Olympics if the NHL plays in Sochi, Russia.
And I don't think Gary Bettman said anything positive regarding that.
No, he held the fort.
Yes. Well, there's so much going on with the NHLPA and everything else that how can you make a decision like that?
Well, it's a collectively bargained thing. They're going to wait until the next negotiating session after next season.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
So now the Americans are getting their flowers. Now, what is... John, you know everything about the Olympics.
Yes.
What is this flowers? What do they signify? Take home for your wife?
Yes, I did read that they symbolized peace and harmony with nature or something. There was some symbolic meaning to receiving the flowers. I could have a balderdash answer. That you ever played that game where you come up with answers? And it does. It symbolizes something. So that's what I'm going with. It symbolizes peace and harmony with nature. Very good. Thank you. Are you going to call me on that? Nobody's calling me on that one, so okay, that's what we'll go with.
You may get calls after.
Yes. Well, the flowers symbolize.
All right. right, here comes Canada. Getting their medals, and the crowd is going to be deafening as they present these to the 23 Team Canada members.
Oh, the guys behind the scenes, the training staff giving each other hugs, Jim Ramsey and Mike Bernstein, and Pat O'Deal, and the guys who really work when everybody else has a break. They don't get a gold medal either, but they get the recognition of being part of a gold medal team.
Seabrook grew up not far from here.
Yes.
Vancouver.
What an coming of Drew Doughty in this tournament. Boy, oh boy, he didn't disappoint.
Patrick Marleau.
Jonathan Toews.
And there's another guy that...
Yes. Oh, yes. The MVP forward in the tournament, Jonathan Toews. And a different role for Jonathan Toews. He's a sniper and he's the playmaker in Chicago. But here he was a checker and ended up being an assist man. Got a goal in this one. But Jonathan Toews shows he can play any role you ask him to play. Dan Boyle, he had a great tournament in this game too, 22 minutes, and proved that he can do it all. And Scott Niedermayer, people said, well, he's too old, his time has come and passed. Boy, he was good again in this, and Scott Niedermayer over 20 minutes in this game.
Marty Brodeur gets his medal and a big cheer from the crowd.
Ryan Getzlaff.
The last guy's going to get quite a cheer.
Yes.
Rick Nash.
And we're getting closer.
Yes, and they go in numerical order.
Yep.
That's why he's the last guy.
And here it is. And even the guy presenting the medal tells the crowd to cheer.
Yes, yes. Jacques Rose, the IOC president, presenting Sidney Crosby with his medal and cheering the crowd to cheer on Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby was the only Team Canada player to run with the torch as it went across Canada. He went back to his home in Newfoundland or in Nova Scotia, and there was a break in the schedule for the Penguins, and he ran with the torch, and he ends the tournament as well.
Well, some of the other guys got to run with the torch, but they aren't on Team Canada. Like a guy like Mark Recchi came back and ran with the torch, but he obviously not on Team Canada. And Sidney Crosby, as you say, Peter, the only guy to carry the torch and then extinguish the hopes of Team USA.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne national du Canada.
And now it's going to get louder.
The national anthem of Canada.
firework.
Yes, here goes the firework. Well, now Team Canada will have their pictures taken, I'm sure, as a group with their gold medals. I don't know whether Team USA will do the same with their silver medals. I don't think so, as Brian Burke and Ron Wilson head to the USA locker room. Which I would think you'd have your picture taken with the silver medal somewhere along the line.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, this medal will mean someday to them a little further down the road.
Yes.
Not quite today.
Well, the Suter, we talked about Ryan Suter.
Yeah.
And you go up and down the list, Ryan Miller will probably play in another Olympics if the National Hockey League players do. And you go up and down the list, and Patrick Kane, you're 21 years old, you don't realize, I've got an Olympic silver medal. And like you say, when you're 41 and you're sitting at home, I've got an Olympic silver medal sitting around someplace.
All of the Canadian team around center ice, as well as the many members of their support staff.
Ken Hitchcock back down from the perch upstairs, and give him credit for after being relieved of his duties from the Columbus Blue Jackets. He went scouting and doing all the things that he had to do to prepare for this.
Scott Niedermayer flashing a big smile as he proudly displays his gold medal. Now the Canadian boys are getting up.
None of the crowd is left.
No, they want to stay here all night.
Yes.
See if they come back on the ice like the women did.
Yes.
A little controversial situation.
Cigars and champagne. And Marty Brodeur and Roberto Luongo are having their picture taken together. And
that's nice.
The gold medalist, goaltender from 2002, Marty Brodeur, he's got another gold. And Roberto Luongo, who took over from Marty Brodeur in this tournament.
How classy was that, though? Marty came over and said, let's go. Let's get this.
Both from Montreal.
They live in the same area. They both have rinks named after them.
Now they've brought, Peter, as you see, this large Canadian flag that was being waved from behind the
Corey
US
Perry
goal.
is being the flag bearer here. Corey Perry likes to have a good time.
Well, he helped make it a good time all the way around today with a solid two-way performance and also scoring a goal.
Don't you see a little bit of Dale Hunter in him? He played for the London Knights, and he has that attitude. He's got that aggravating Dale Hunter attitude, and I mean that in a very complimentary way, that he's aggravating to play against. He plays tough, and yet he can score goals, and that was Dale Hunter. He could do it all.
Now the players...
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Now you're going to seize the moment, folks.
Yes.
The marketing team just jumped in.
Yes. Training staff having their picture taken.
Oh, now they're running with the...
Yes, here's Drew Doughty. Yes.
Not running.
Yeah, that's a rookie. This is a rookie initiation. Okay. Hey, get the youngest guy. You have to skate around with the flag.
But he did it proudly.
They might all take a lap with that.
Yeah.
Don't let it touch the ice, old boys. You'll have another controversy on your hands.
Oh, yes.
And they're cheering. They're not booing anybody. It's all about Luongo.
Now, Roberto Luongo is having his picture taken with the Vancouver Canuck trainers, who were the training staff for Team Canada. Scott Niedermayer, the captain of Team Canada, is skating around the complete circle with the flag.
Proud moment again for Scott Niedermayer. He's done so many championships in the Olympic arena as well as the NHL arena.
Here we go.
Corey Perry.
And there's Roberto Luongo.
And he's waving the flag as he weaves through center.
Did you ever think he'd call that?
No.
Luongo weaving through center.
Yes.
Brodeur maybe, but... And now they...
Well, and the Quebec controversy, no, not enough French guys and all this kind of stuff, Peter, it seems like this, that the unity of the country and the unity of sport, where players from all over Canada join together and play and become a team so quickly, French, English, whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah. They're all just hockey players and playing for their country.
They check their ego at the door.
That's it. They check their ego at the door. And you look at the minutes. I mean, some of the minutes that these guys played in this final game that went 7 minutes of overtime, and Brent Seabrook ended up playing 6 minutes. Patrice Bergeron, he was 3 minutes and 12 seconds. And check your ego at the door. And Sidney Crosby, who he ended up with 16:52.
Wow.
In a 67-minute game. In Pittsburgh, he would have been way up there, but no.
He's got the flag, and he's got it all tangled up now.
Yes, he's got it all tangled up. Chris Pronger's the only one tall enough to untangle it, so he's over trying to help out. Okay, boys, you can go to your dressing room now and celebrate. And they just want to make sure that the flag goes off with the kind of respect that is Sidney Crosby.
Carried the torch. Now he carries the flag.
Yes.
And Team Canada now, no doubt, will be saluting the crowd before they exit.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want to leave
and
either.
Here they go, and they're applauding, led by Scott Niedermayer. Marc-Andre Fleury is out with his jersey number 29 on. He got to be a backup in one of the games. Didn't get to play in the tournament, but now he's got a Stanley Cup and a Olympic gold medal.
All with less than a year.
In less than a year.
Canada goes off to a thunderous ovation here.
And because he's 5 or 6 years younger than Roberto Luongo, if the NHL players continue to play, Marc-Andre Fleury would be the goalie of the future, for sure.
And the crowd still on their feet here as they serenade the Canadian players off the ice. And the party, which has started about half an hour ago, is going to go to a more feverish pitch in a moment with the fans in this building and the players.
Yeah, well, good luck moving once we get out of here, I'll tell you that. I don't know how you're getting home.
Yes.
John, do you have a helicopter or something that can
really, yes, the Van Ock has set it up for me.
So the on-ice ceremonies come to an end, and we are 8 minutes away from handing it over to local stations. Our network coverage will be done here at the bottom of the hour. So that being the case, it's pretty tough to capsulize what we've witnessed over the last number of days here, Peter Maher, but you were called by the consortium a while back and asked if you would be the voice of these Winter Olympic Games, and no better person to have in this chair than a Hall of Famer and a great career that you've had. I sit here across from you now, and you're getting a little teary. It's a great moment, isn't it?
Yeah, when the flags went up and Team Canada on top and O Canada being cheered, that was a very proud moment. I've had the opportunity to come out and do play-by-play of a gold medal game that your country wins. It's absolutely the phenomenal moment of my career.
John, yourself having a chance to sit here, and
it really is. And I played in a few World Championships and things like that. But to work with Peter Maher again, who I worked with maybe 20 years ago, and now we're back together again. And it's such a delight to work with Peter. He's so much fun to be around, and his hockey knowledge and his broadcasting savvy is legendary. And it's just nice to be around Peter Maher. But to watch this and how it developed the tournament. And there were so many teams. To me, this is the deepest that the Olympic tournament has been since the NHL guys started playing. Because now you've got all the Slovakia playing very well. Switzerland has NHL guys playing with an NHL goaltender. And it's the deepest tournament that it's ever been. And to have Team Canada on home soil, be able to take it and come back, and even though they lost to Team USA in the preliminary round, come back, play a real smart game. And then I thought they were going to win it in regulation, Peter, and give Team USA credit, because they never gave up. They were down 2-0. They were behind for the first time in the tournament. Yep. And they were still able to come back, and the youngest team in the tournament, and give them credit. But Team Canada just the will to win. Guys like Scott Niedermayer, Sidney Crosby, Chris Pronger, who at the first 2 or 3 games of the tournament, you say, what is he doing here? And then he checked the ego at the door and started to play like Chris Pronger. And his ice time here in this game was way up there, 23-35. He played more than Scott Niedermayer. He played more than Shea Weber. And the only guy that played more than him, I would assume, would be, he played more than Duncan Keith. So Chris Pronger was a guy that he
went from a stumbling start.
That's right, to being the Stanley Cup winner, the Norris Trophy winner that we know Chris Pronger is. And I think that's the Canadian hockey players, and we talked about it before, and U.S. too, that drive to succeed, that drive to prove. There's no paychecks in this one.
Nope.
It's the pride and the desire to succeed, and I thought we saw it in this game.
Definitely did, and Team Canada reaching down at the very end, and probably very demoralized as they went to the dressing room for the overtime intermission, having given up that goal with 24 seconds left in regulation time to have the overtime, but undone it. They came back and gained the victory, and Sidney Crosby, the marquee player on the Canadian team, becomes the marquee guy in the headlines tomorrow with the big goal.
And yet, the last 3 or 4 games, and his ice time, 16-something, and you look at a 67-minute game and Sidney Crosby's ice time, and give Mike Babcock a lot of credit, because Mike Babcock, 4-on-4, Sidney Crosby and Jerome McGinley. And you've got the playmaker and the shooter. And it ended up being the other way around. But Mike Babcock on the first goal, an icing call. So he changes lines and Jonathan Toews score. Shift after a penalty kill. He's got Marleau out there because the penalty killers were tired. And Marleau creates a goal by just during a line change, Mike Babcock having the right guy on the ice. And it's a tough challenge for any coach to come in. You've got one practice. And away you go. And then you have to, they're all dress rehearsals. You don't have a lot of time to work on power plays and things like that. Power play ended up being very good, almost 30%. And Team Canada played as a team.
The great thing about the Olympic Games, gentlemen, is the fact that somewhere there is a 5 or 6-year-old watching this at home right now. They're sitting with their parents. They just watched what Sidney Crosby did. Same within the States. There's young players watching, thinking, maybe never thought, John, of picking up a hockey stick and taking up the game. They watch this, and this is exactly what Gary Bettman talked about during our intermission when we had him in the first intermission. The reason they're here now is because of, now they're fortunate they got this matchup. When you think of a North American audience, they're fortunate to get this. He called this an NHL game. Gary will do that, and it's his product on the ice. That's exactly
every player.
Yeah, every player.
It's the only game that I did, and I did 14 games in this, where there wasn't at least one, either Russian league, Swedish league, Finnish league, whatever. There wasn't one player from anywhere else other than the NHL.
Yeah, and the impact that this game will have goes far beyond what we can even think about, and who knows, another 15 years from now, there's a young man wearing a Hockey Canada jersey having his chance, or her chance, to play in a Winter Olympic Games. So it's quite the moment. It goes beyond here and now, and not many moments do that.
Well, and Team USA, give them credit, under 18 they won, World Juniors they won, but the women lost and the men lost. Oh, too bad. I shouldn't be like that.
Well, it's not a bad note to go out on. John, I want to thank you very much. It's been a pleasure
Dan.
getting to know you and work with you. Peter,
Dan, a pleasure.
Very much a pleasure.
Outstanding working with you, and certainly have enjoyed the 2 weeks.
Howard,
he's doing the yeoman work downstairs.
He's downstairs now. And I've got a list of people here I want to thank. So I wanted to thank you two first. It's been a pleasure. Howard Berger, you mentioned he's downstairs talking with Team Canada players and U.S. players right now. Dylan Brown and Lance Kennedy, two of our technical directors back in Toronto. Jason Niven as well. Those three men have done a great job. Jason Rosen, who's been helping coordinate all of our network coverage from coast to coast. Canada, you can thank him. Nelson Millman, our outgoing general manager, executive producer, president.
Turns into my boss.
Now he becomes your boss.
It turns into my boss.
One of the men that were on the scene at the Fan in Toronto 16 years ago when I came on board. Thank you very much to Nelson Millman. We will take him out for a good meal tomorrow after the opening ceremonies tonight. Also, thanks to all the volunteers here at Hockey Canada Place and the technical crews as well at Hockey Canada Place. Without everybody's 2 cents here, we could not have pulled this together, and hopefully made it sound so good for everybody across the country. Fans, local stations will join with their own coverage. I know in Toronto they'll be taking calls, so stick around, and I'm sure you can call from anywhere in the country, toll free. I'll give you the number now, 1-888-666-0590. Give the Fan in Toronto a call. Fan in Calgary might take some calls as well.
Thanks, Rob Kerr and Pat Steinberger.
You know the number for Rob Call?
Oh, now don't ask me.
Come on now. Rob will give it out in a moment at the Fan in Calgary.
What's Rob's cell number? We'll give that out.
All right, guys. We're back coast to coast with the closing ceremony shortly. I'm Dan Dunleavy. Good day for now from Canada Hockey Place.
Puck slides to the goal mouth, however. Now Crosby has a left wing board. Gets the left corner to Aginla. Aginla, Crosby. Scores! C.G. Crosby! It's Canada goal!